So, Kristy, this is your AI workforce maturity model from defense to offense. And we've got a great analogy going here with soccer. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So as a very proud soccer mum, I couldn't help myself but put the football analogy to something that's quite critical with our clients today, particularly when we're starting to explore AI augmented workforces and the way in which companies are, embracing and exploring that component. And this is a really great way to start thinking about the journey that you can go on from defense to sort of more of an offense position. So let's start here first with, holding the line. Absolutely, you want your goalkeepers right here on the goal line, blocking those threats. When we think about this stage of maturity, this is really, that risk compliance, legal lens. They really dominate the AI agenda and they are more concerned, they're cautious, they want the controls in place. And so that's often, a place that companies start. And then they start thinking about how do we balance that risk and opportunity lens to move us and progress us forward. So, if you think about it, again, we're using the soccer analogy, start running your drills, building your structure, running plays. How do you move it into more that defensive formation now on the field? So, early pilots, a little bit of governance starts to emerge, but adoption is still fragmented in your organisation. From a leadership perspective, functional leaders experiment and they're still setting controls. As we keep moving forward, some will say it all happens in the midfield. And my son is an absolute midfield star, if I say so myself, but that's all about controlling the play and moving forward. So progress and acceleration starts to happen here. But you do need executive sponsorship, and that's the accelerator. As we move forward from controlling the play on the front foot, creating the plays, that's where you own the space. And we talk about productivity gains in the workforce. If we don't control where they spend their time or how they fill that newfound time they've got, then we lose that productivity gain as an organisation and individuals will fill it. The ideal, I'm not going to say end point, but if we get to that offensive position, that's really where you've got risk and opportunity balanced beautifully and that championship mindset. I think one of the things that we did talk about in today's session was around AI literacy in our workforce and the engagement of our workers through this process. And what we are seeing, particularly in market, but also in the clients, is where you do get to engage your workforce early on is when you get those gains and that acceleration a lot faster. So board executives are champions, workforce plays with AI fluency, and certainly the external partners across your organisation are wholly engaged.
And the little dots are what the participants put on.
One of the things we asked all of our attendees today was to come in and think about where does their organisation sit on this maturity model. And you can see here we've got some sitting on the goal line, blocking threats, still in that very defensive sort of mode. We've got others starting to move out of the blocks and move a little bit to more of a defensive formation. A lot sitting in the midfield. So that was a really great discussion around the table today. How have they been adopting it? What's next for them? And how they engage their workforce a lot more deeply. And then we've got an outlier certainly sitting up here with that championship mindset.